Time to go in the Wayback Machine, see what these videos are. So I just spent the last, 20, 30 minutes watching my old videos on the Uranus opposition. I haven't done that for a while. My chickens. My channel started in 2022, November, and the reason I felt really compelled to make a YouTube channel was to talk about the Uranus opposition.
Uranus is the one we're talking about right now.
Yeah, you can see here I was just really trying to figure out how to even say Uranus because I didn't want to say Uranus and I didn't want to say Uranus. And so I was still trying to figure that out. So that was part of my journey. I remember being like, why isn't everybody talking about this?
Why aren't more astrologers talking about the Uranus opposition?
Because it's so incredible. Anyway, if you don't know what it is, the Uranus opposition, I explained it pretty well in my first video with some avocados. Basically, you're born with a Uranus placement in your natal chart and it doesn't change. And the other avocado shows the transiting Uranus. And when they're facing each other, yeah, revelations, illuminations, all that stuff. It's called a universal transit. It happens not exactly at the same time for everybody because of the way that Uranus is orbiting the sun. So it happens anytime between ages 39 and 42 when it initiates, but then it lasts the entire time that you're in that whole sign opposition. So it's a process.
Some of the examples that Dr. Tarnas cites in his book include Galileo, Rene Descartes, and Isaac Newton. What do they have in common? They were all in their Uranus oppositions.
I shouldn't take it off, but I kind of want to. Oh, good times, good times. I'm coming to the end of my own Uranus opposition, and it's a little bit melancholy. It's a little bit sweet and sour. I don't know, sounding like I'm ordering from a Chinese restaurant. But it kind of is. It's like a exciting moment in my life that changed me forever, and I'm grateful for it. Because I was at a point in my life, and maybe you can relate to this if you're around this age or you're coming into it or you've had it. I mean, if you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. You kind of are... You're looking at your life a little bit differently because you know that you're in a new phase.
It can be difficult to strike a balance between what your new needs might be and what other people in your life are expecting from you.
All the things that you've been putting effort into and energy into, whether it's family or work or whatever it is, you kind of at that point where you're like, is this really me? Is this my life? Is this what I want to do?
So what opportunities does it bring? This is the best part. Well, yeah, the opportunity is to be more authentic, to not give a crap.
It was legitimately how I was feeling for sure.
Uranus opposition is to make you feel alive, to feel the experience of being alive.
This is just my story personally, but I was at a point in my life where I'd let myself be pushed down for my communication, for my self-expression. And so I just was ready to like explode like a volcano, obviously. Went straight onto YouTube. And it created tension in my life. A lot of those things I'm talking about, I know from experience because I was feeling limited. I was feeling, my dog's barking. So going on YouTube and making this community and meeting people and having other people have that same experience, being able to talk to somebody else about it, we need to know we're not alone in, because if you do feel alone during your Uranus opposition, you could push it away and just like not let that genius thing come out, not let your lotus blossom and all the things that you're meant to be and say and do, that genius inside of you, you could stop it. But another video that I have on YouTube about the Uranus opposition was when I was about halfway through my Uranus opposition. It was centered around Peggy Lee's song, Is That All There Is? And is that all there is to life? That's how you get when you don't take Uranus opposition by the hand and say, okay, I know this is uncomfortable. I know this is a little strange. I know I'm feeling this rebelliousness and it could make waves in my life, but let's see where this is going to go together. That's, option A. Option B is saying, no, this is scary. This is uncomfortable. I don't want to change because it's going to make too many waves in my life or whatever. And that's fair too, right? But then you might get to the, is that all there is moment?
Is that all there is?
And then it gets even more destructive almost. One of my favorite things was reading about it in Tarnas's book, and that's Cosmos and Psyche. All the different people that he had in there. I was just like amazed. I have a few more here. Marie Curie, revolutionary discoveries in science, first woman to win a Nobel Prize, 40 years old. Virginia Woolf wrote Mrs. Dalloway. She changed storytelling with feminism and all that stuff. 40 years old, like I said. Harriet Tubman, 39, 40 years old. She was the one that decided at that time to become the leader of the Underground Railroad. Friedrich Nietzsche, 40 years old. He wrote Thus Spoke Zarathustra, shatters conventional philosophy. William Blake, I love William Blake. He had an artistic and spiritual transformation during this time. And that's when he created his most visionary works, poetry and Tiger, Burning Bright. Galileo Galilei, 40 to 41 years old, he changed the entire perception of the universe with his discoveries. All of them could have said no. Marie Curie could have said, no, I'm a woman. I am not going to be ever recognized, and I'm not going to do this because people aren't going to take me seriously. Virginia Woolf, she could have not had the room of one's own and just, said, no, I'm not going to write this book. Harriet Tubman, easy no. She took a lot of risks to do the Underground Railroad. Friedrich Nietzsche does whatever he wants. So I don't know. I'm not too shocked about him changing philosophy at that time. But, it was still a big move. And William Blake, he had these wild spiritual expressions that could have, it really set him apart if you know anything about his story. And obviously Galileo, he had to pay the price for what he said, but he goes down in history books as being correct. So in retrospect, here are some things that I've learned about Uranus opposition. If you feel a strong desire for change in your career, in your relationships, or it could be where you live, you really should know where it has happened, if it's happened for you, or where it's coming through, what whole sign house is getting the axis. It doesn't have to be binary, right? It doesn't have to be, I have to change everything in my life or else I'll never be happy. No. Or I'm not changing anything because I'm too scared. There is a middle way. There's a middle path. And that's in knowing exactly like where you can find it. There will be sudden moments of clarity. And those are the ones you don't want to push away. Those are the ones you want to lean into and go, okay, I'm listening. So if you're feeling the shift, don't resist it. It's an invitation to become a very authentic version of yourself over time. It's a process. And just know it's not always going to be comfortable, but when you get to the other side and you look back at it, it'll probably, if you take it by the hand, it's going to be one of the most beautiful and expansive, life-changing moments for you. I like you just the way you are. And if you want to know more about your own Uranus opposition, I'll put some something in the description below, which will talk about the houses, the house axes. A little more information for you to decode it yourself. And if you want to know more with an astrologer, that's also a good thing to do. Okay, that's it. I did tell you I liked you the way you are. I'm going to say it again because I can. I like you just the way you are. And I will talk to you next time. Okay, bye. My dogs are going nuts today. Should probably check out what they're barking at, but it's probably just somebody walking their dog. I can't stop them from being authentic.